Come to geopolitics in conflict. Breaking news. Elizabeth, what's going on?
Glasgow.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
The UN meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to delve deeper
This-
into some
yeah.
information we had to check on. And this is the reason why we decided to come on, because we need to address a few things.
Yes.
Well, how about if we start with who's...
How-
yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
How about we start with who is there and
Who is not?
specifically who is not there?
You're right, because what is not been, I mean, you have the media mention, some two head of states didn't attend. Well, the list is more than two. So what we're talking about here, we're talking about all the members. There are about, as you know, the world has about 192 members in the UN. Not all of them are there. Let's start first with China. Okay.
Huge one to start with.
It is a big deal. President Xi decided not to attend, decided not to attend virtually.
Yeah, virtually.
And all
because they talked about that originally. They talked about him attending virtually.
Exactly, but he decided not to do that one. So what he ended up doing is he ended up sending a letter so they can read it. Vladimir Putin of Russia decided not to attend. Recep Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey decided not to attend because the British couldn't provide him his security. And so to some of us will say, oh, what is he talking about? Well, it's his right because he wants to feel safe. Then you have Brazil, didn't attend. You have South Africa, didn't attend. You got even the Queen supposed to, even did this say in whatever hospital. But anyway, she didn't attend. But the question about all this is not about just individuals. It's what does it mean on the global stage?
Yes.
So personally, and I speak for myself, as I always do, this one is sending a strong message that we don't care what you guys say. Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
So those countries decided, no, we're not gonna, especially when it comes down to China.
Yes.
Well, we all know the position of China in the global market. Russia, we all know Russia's position, especially when it comes down to energy.
Yeah.
So to me personally, this is sending a message to the rest of the world.
And I think so too. And I think even if you look at it in the sense of, the summits that we've had in the past, we as the countries involved didn't even reach the agreements from the last summit.
The ones, the Paris Accord.
The Paris Accord. We didn't even reach that. And so now a whole bucket full of new promises that have what exactly behind them.
Yeah. And it tells you right there, are these summits nothing but a smoke screen? Because if they have so many words but no actions, what's the point?
Right.
And this is where we comes to the core of the argument. And the argument that I will make, and for you to understand what this is all about, I mean, should we expect, for example, and we're not picking on any country here.
No.
Should we expect, for example, India to drop coal altogether when their economy depends on coal production?
Right.
Should we expect Australia to drop all its coal production, despite what their prime minister was saying, which was a lie?
Right.
Because basically, you're reaching a zero emission by 2060. India said we will reach it by 2070.
Yeah.
The rest of the world saying we will reach it by 2050.
Yeah.
I mean, even the United States, which we are not, we the one also, as a matter of fact, Elizabeth, I just found out, I had to dig through some information. And I found that the production of coal in the United States increased from 20 to 21.
Right.
By about a 12%.
And that's big.
It is. And we expect that next year is going to increase by another 5.
Yeah.
So if we are to say to the rest of the world, you do not need to produce green gases and so forth, and we are doing it.
Yeah.
What kind of hypocrisy is that?
Yeah. It's huge hypocrisy.
Yeah. Well, this hypocrisy doesn't even end on a paper. It ends also on a tarmac.
Yes.
Can you address that one?
I can. So one of the biggest controversies yet has been the amount of private jets that were flown into Glasgow with all of these foreign dignitaries, with the presidents. So there have been about 400 jets, private jets, that have flown in. And, you know, something that doesn't often get addressed during these conferences is the amount of pollution that's actually emitted by private jets.
Oh my gosh,
that's emitted by plane travel in general.
Yeah.
And that's something that doesn't get talked about, but private jets. So the amount of emissions that came from the 400 private jets that landed for this summit alone is equal to the amount of emissions that 1,600 Britons would produce in an entire year.
Oh my gosh.
Tell me that is
Talk about
the great
hypocrisy.
start
Yeah.
to a climate summit.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be a best way for them to do it online and just get together and do it online via Zoom or whatever? I mean, let alone our president, he goes with a convoy of 87 vehicles.
Yeah.
Why?
And 4 planes.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, I know it's a sign of power. I know that, but come on, you know, that's taxpayers' money being wasted. But speaking of a president, what was he doing during the speech?
He did fall asleep.
Oh,
he did fall asleep. We will retweet a video of he fell asleep, and also Boris Johnson did in fact fall asleep. Also, it's a picture of that too.
Yeah, that's bad. That's to me, I look at it as an insult. It is. You know, tired or not. That's almost like, you know, and I do it with my students, for example, in classroom. One of the things that I tell my students, do not fall asleep in my class, because that's an insult.
Right.
You know, if you're not interested, don't show up.
Right.
Don't show up.
Right.
Because that's what it is. You sitting as a head of state, you know the cameras will be on you.
100% of the time, the cameras are on him.
So
and I do understand, you know, there is jet lag. They are tired. You know, there are circumstances, I'm sure, but ultimately, you know, you are the head of a country. You are the head of one of the most prevalent, powerful countries in the world, and to fall asleep during the opening statements of this summit is a bit disrespectful. And it's challenging as Americans to watch that, because it's hard to explain that away. You can't explain that he's, I don't know, too old, or I don't know what that is, but it's hard to see that. It's hard to deal with that, because there's nothing we can do about it at this moment.
By the way, I wanted to add 2 other heads of state didn't show up. It was the Pope. The Pope didn't show up, and also the Iranian president Raisi didn't show up. So it becomes the question of okay, is all this, and mind you that to conduct this kind of summits, the security involved into that, the cost associated with this.
Huge.
So why are we? Because to me, that's where the waste is. You know?
Well, I think that has to do with, so one of the things that's already been called for is the trillions and trillions of dollars that this is going to cost. And I think that's so. We've all been to benefit galas, right? Galas that support nonprofits and things,
good causes, and all that.
And so there's typically a call for money. And this is different, obviously, but I think that there's because the trillions of dollars have already been put forth as sort of a request, they know that this is going to cost an enormous amount of money. And who's going to pay for this? Because even some of the less affluent countries have already said, we can't pay for this. So who's going to help us pay for this?
Well, because that was the argument as far as transferring to the green energy. I ain't gonna be cheap. So
no, it's not.
And it was one of the idea about the what was it? Not the coal.
Methane.
Yeah.
Methane.
Can you share some info you found about that?
Yeah. So one of the first things that happened, and this was spearheaded by the U.S., more than 100 countries, including the U.S., committed to reducing methane emissions by 30% by 2030. So methane emissions can come from cows. I think that's a lot of where they think it's coming from, but it can also come from coal.
Cool. Wow.
And so, but I also want to point out that a handful of the major emitters did not agree to this. So China did not agree. Russia did not agree. And it's interestingly enough, not including Australia as well, where they have major coal that comes, or major methane that comes from coal.
From coal, yeah.
So I think that that's a very interesting first step.
Yeah. Well, in the case of Australia, I do know for a fact that the production for the coal, it's very crucial to them. That's why, and I listened, by the way, I listened to the speech by Morrison. You know, even scientists who assessed his argument for Canadian emission to zero by 2060, they're like, this doesn't make any sense because it's not feasible, let alone business is not going to. Coal is very important for Australia. So what about, just to share with our viewers, what about the statement by Prince Charles?
This is also very interesting. So Prince Charles, who went, who is there from the royal family. So Prince Charles spoke to, during his speech, he spoke to a vast military style campaign is required to marshal the strength of the global private sector for a fundamental economic transition. Now, that's very loaded. That's a loaded statement.
And coming from Charles.
And coming from, yes.
Let alone what I just found out.
What did you find out?
About his dealings using the royal title.
Talk about that, yes.
Yeah,
please.
Somebody from Saudi Arabia that wants to buy the knighthood for $1 million plus.
Wow.
Sterling, British sterling, whatever that. Equivalency to $2 million, whatever.
That's
I mean, using the royal title towards that end, it's pathetic. But that's their life; they can do whatever. But so the question now has become, just for our viewers: is the summit success or a failure?
We don't know yet.
We don't know yet. You're right,
because it's still got a little ways to go. It's still going on. However, I think what you brought up about the countries who are not present, look at what countries those are.
Yeah, when you think of Brazil, when you think of China, when you think of Russia, Turkey,
you were
South
talking
Africa.
About earlier, Brazil has the Amazon.
Of course,
What a huge,
it's a big deal.
Huge impact on our climate.
It is a big deal.
What's happening in the Amazon, and so I think that's probably more telling than anything else, because without the participation of those countries,
you're right.
What change can really be made?
And we will be, just FYI, guys, we will be doing a full video on this one. We present the stats and all that stuff. We are gathering the information to make sure, as always, we might come late by a day or two. It won't matter. But we want to make sure the accuracy of the information. That is one of the reasons why. So that's why we decided just to, anything to add?
Yes.
Before?
No, that's
we just wanted to share this with our viewers because it's very important.
It is. It's very, very important.
Yeah, especially for those head of states not attending. That tells you right there where things are headed. So, and as we said, we're gonna be doing a full video on this in the next few days.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing a full video on this.
How about the of course, we look forward to seeing our guest on the live stream on Friday. We look forward to seeing you there. We're going to do some hot topic for a conversation. We got two major guests coming on the next few days without disclosing names here, because we want to keep it a surprise. And the key thing also for our members, if you can talk a little bit about membership.
So for our members, if you guys are watching right now, we have 4 presentations that are coming up over the next month. Or month and a half. And so this Friday, we are doing the hypersonic missile. We're doing a very deep dive into the hypersonic missile and what's sort of really going on there. And then we have a couple of others that are set up. And David, you have been talking to some of the people in our Discord.
Exactly. I've been communicating
in our private community.
I've been answering. But just to highlight one thing about the hypersonic, besides what we're going to be talking about, we're going to highlight also the idea of how UFOs shut down the nuclear facilities since 1948. So something we're going to talk about on that platform with our members. So it's going to be very, very exciting conversation. And Elizabeth is also working on preparing the Q&A session we're going to have with our members. Those are for some very key highlight information we're going to be disclosing. So we look forward to that.
Geopoliticsandconflict.com.
That's what it is. So, and as always, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, and TikTok. Yes, we
TikTok.
are now on TikTok. So
Yeah.
maybe one day we can do some dance or something.
Yeah, we're gonna
No, on a serious note, you guys know the topics we cover, because our key, on a serious note, is to ensure the truth. That's what we stand for, and we want to make sure that we provide you the facts to the best of our knowledge, but you reach your own conclusion. So, and we always thank you for your support, and as always, stay informed. Till next time. Bye-bye.